Hi everybody, it's Linda. So today is a mishmash of stuff. I got the last of my Amazon and last of my AliExpress orders in. So my AliExpress order was this set of dies. It is called, I think they called it Love Book. So, okay, so there's 3 pieces. Okay. They're not that big. This is like just under 4 inches total. And it's about 3.5 the other way. Okay. And then these smaller pieces. So I did some punch outs. I doubled everything just to thicken it up. But here's the little, I haven't decorated anything. I just punched them and tied them together. So there's the first one and then this one. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I just really liked the die. I thought it was a great idea. And I figured next time I'll buy a better book die if I see one that really jumps at me. But, you know, anything, like I can still stamp and glue stuff onto these things and draw some, or get some lines put on. And here's another of the little heart. And unfortunately, I was having trouble with the directional. This is upside down, that's upside down, but I didn't always want the same pattern showing through. Anyway, and then there's this one, like see it's, but then on this side I have a pattern paper. You get the idea. Just a little book, you can, you know, and it is scored. It's actually kind of hard to see on the little guide, but there are score lines. Well, they don't really have a score line on the little one, but they do have like slight score lines. So if I really wanted to, I could score them and have them bend more. But I figure if the ring design that I choose works well, then you don't need to do it. So anyway, so that was that. Okay, Amazon. Remember my sidekick that I bought at Value Village? Well, finally, this came in. Now, I'm sorry I don't remember how much it cost. It's one embossing pad, and I did test it out. I'm not going to show you now. I'm not going to actually do one, but I only have one embossing folder that's skinny enough to go in here. But you just replace one of these with this, and even though I could have just tried it with just these guys, probably didn't even need a specialized embossing pad. But anyway, this came out. Isn't that cute? Like it does work. So yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but I just like the idea of it's almost like a little complete thing that if I wanted to sell it or gift it to anybody, they could do stuff with it. They just need small embossing pads, and just small, as long as they're not more than I think 3 inch wide. Yeah, 2.5 inch. No wider than 2.5 inch, and this is 5 inch long. These are 5 inch long, so it should be fine for small things. Okay, let's see. The other thing I did was I made a bunch of these matchboxes. There's a video online. I've saved her in my playlist of my favorite junk journal videos, and every once in a while I go and I watch it to get the measurements because I never remember. But yeah, but yet I still, even when I follow directions and everything, I still have issues. Sometimes it just doesn't fit right. Like this one over here, for example. Like see how it's like, it's just, I have a hard time. Like it's not very even. Yeah. But I always use like file folder or chipboard as a base, which makes it very hard to cut that with the punch board. I use my 123 punch board. So this one doesn't have a notch, but you just need to push it. You don't really need a notch. But I have found that I can, before I fold it and before I glue it up into shape, I can use my punch. I can use a circle punch and just make a little notch there if I have to. Anyway, so I made some of those. I made a recipe, clear gesso. So this is 1/2 cup of white glue, 1/4 cup of cornstarch. I use cornstarch, or you can use a 1/4 cup of baby powder and a 1/4 cup of water, and you just mix it up. You give it a good shake, mix it, and then what it does is, okay, so here's the shiny, if you can see, it's kind of shiny. Here's a shiny sheet. So you want to dull that so you can use it in a journal if you don't want it shiny. Well, it worked, except it's a bit wonky, like it's almost like it has lines there, but yet over here it's perfect. So I think the issue for me, and then but it does like warp it, so I have to put it in book pages for a while. But yeah, like it's almost like it worked in some spots and didn't in others. So I think my issue is only that I need to give it a really, 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 really good shake, like, you know, like a paint can shake. And I also use craft sticks, popsicle sticks, and stir it up as well. Like, you just have to keep shaking it, and I think that will help. So I'll do some more testing to make sure that is the issue, because what else could it be, right? The other thing I did was I made a few of these. So this was from Natasha at Treasure Books on YouTube. So, you know the lace, let me grab one quickly. Now, of course, I'll never find one. This is a smaller one, but you know this type of lace that we all have, that I tried to like stop it from like being so tight, but I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, what you do is you thread a needle and you do a running stitch, and then when you pull it, it turns into these, into like little flowers. Now, of course, I have a hard time sewing. This one actually is like glued or something, so this was a weird one. But like I had even eyelet lace, so you can see how I did it. And then you can put a button in the middle or rhinestones. You can layer them. They're good for anything, right? Like, look how pretty that is. And that was just one of those laces that isn't that pretty. So yeah, so I made all these. So I'll probably make some more. I kept stabbing myself. I mean, I dug that needle right into my hand twice. Like, look how cute this one is. Like, isn't it adorable? Aren't they adorable? Anyway, so I did that. The other thing I'm doing is I'm making that Rolodex box that has been going around. Paula Lemon, her cousin. I do not subscribe to her cousin, but her cousin, I saved her video in my playlist because it's her cousin who made it for Paula. Paula Lemon, she has a lot of great ideas on different junk journal things, so I follow her. So this is just 4 1/4 by 6, and then you just build it up. This is just 1 inch, and then you make hinges and you glue it together. Now, I'm at the stage where I'm ready to decorate, and then what you can do is you can use these as the feet, right? You can paint them, or I'll probably just ink them up. But I was also thinking, depending on what paper I use to cover all this, I could use spools. Wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, so even though I don't need one of these, I just thought I'd make it and see how it turns out, because I felt like doing it. So, and I believe the last thing I want to show you is Pam from the Paper Outpost showed us how to make this little envelope. So it's just a 6 by 6 piece of paper. You fold it up, and it has its own enclosure or closure. Like, this is amazing. Like, to me, it's like, So I tried it with an 8 by 8, and I didn't get the fold right at the sides, but it does work. It's just a bit bigger. But let me show you. So you open it up, and it can be like a letter. Like, you can have it as a letter, or you can, if a gift card, if you can figure out, like, it needs to be a square. So if you can figure out what size you need for a gift card, like maybe 8 by 8, a gift card would probably for sure fit in here. So maybe even a 7 by 7, but it's more a matter of playing with it. So that's, oops, what's going on over here? So let me show you quickly. Oops, no, I did it wrong. Okay, let me show you quickly how to make it. So you just, let me get this out of the way. First thing you do is you do a one corner by corner, one corner to corner. Oh, this paper, what is going on? This paper isn't cooperating with me. So one corner to corner. See, it's like it's not, it's wonky. Okay, let's pretend it's not. And then you open it back up. It's helpful to use a grid like this, to use a grid mat, okay? And then you take this up just shy of the fold, and it looks even, and you fold. And then you go up, you fold that up. And then what you do is, see the mark is here, so these are inch grid, it's an inch grid. So around the 1.5 inch mark, you fold it. So around here, I fold it over. And then give it a good crease. And then over here, same thing, about like that. Okay, so there's like your envelope. And then the top one, now she always chose this side, and so do I, but I'm sure I could do it on this side if I wanted to. So you take this, and where they meet, you fold it backwards, back to where it came from. Okay, so you fold that. And then you pull it back up, and then you push on it, and you have, now what she did in her video, she made a bunch of these. She inked it so it's easier to see. And then instead of just folding this straight here, you have to fold, like, instead of just folding it down, see, that's not as, this paper must not be very square. Anyway, let's pretend it's square. So what I do is I fold it so that it's almost like right to the tip, and then I consider it like that's where I want it, and then you just slide it in, and there you go. So these are good for journals, or for maybe in a little gift or something. And she even said, like, some people, like, now you can make this a tuck spot if you want to glue this down, or glue in here, or just make it like an envelope where it's just a tuck spot. Or you can just leave it like this, and then somebody can have a secret writing spot. Anyway, so that's what I've been working on. I think I'm going to continue. I'm going to pick out some pattern paper, some from my scraps for that Rolodex, the Memory Dex box. And I also might start on a journal. So, yeah, see, this isn't very even, but I blame the paper. I blame the tool and not the artist. It's really me. Okay, anyway, but you get the idea. They're adorable. And, yeah, it's a great thing to use up your 6x6s. And like I said, I did try an 8x8, and it was fine, except I had to fold it at the 2-inch mark instead of the 1.5. Because I folded it a bit out, and it wasn't enough, as you can see from my crease there. So, yeah, like I think I did it on that side. I went, no, and then fixed it. So, and this is double-sided paper. She said that using anything like this or thicker might be a bit awkward, but it seemed to work okay. But I can see what she means. If you use really super thick paper, it just might not work that well. Anyway, there you go. That's all that's been happening here. And I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later. Bye.